you'll find some that you really like. So Fucoydon, we spell it Fucoydon, but the actual term, I guess the scientific way of spelling it is Fucoidan, but so that's just our kind of our trade name. But Fucoydon is a natural substance that's found in brown seaweed. Oops, somebody's unmuted there. Paul, you unmuted yourself. Shame on you. So studies show that if you ingest Fucoydon on a daily basis, it's going to have a lot of health benefits. And I was reading that if you go out and you say, well, I'm just going to harvest my own seaweed, only 2% is biologically active, 2%. So that means if you go out and you grab 10 pounds, you're only going to have 2 pounds that's going to be biologically active. And how active is it, right? It's just really not impractical to ingest pounds and pounds of seaweed in order to get an effective daily dose. Most Fucoydon, or limamui as it's called some places, brown seaweed, or Sisel Fucoydon with a Y, what's the difference between them? So we use a 35% concentrate, where most of the products on the market, they're using a 1.3 to 1.6% concentrate. So you can see we've got a lot more effective product just based on that. And then we go a little bit even further than that. In most Fucoydon, only 1 out of 7 of the molecules are sulfonated, so that there's actually 6 molecules that are basically unusable in the body. So Tom Maurer Sr. has patented a process. He figured out how to sulfonate and activate all 7 of the Fucoydon molecules. And so Sisel Fucoydon is the most efficacious product of its kind on the market. And people have tried to buy the patent from him. They've tried to get him to let them use the patent, and he's said no, which that's good for us. We've got the most effective Fucoydon product on the market. He's got hundreds of patents on Fucoydon, and he's actually received 2 Genius Awards for his work on Fucoydon. Pretty amazing when you start looking at this product, right? So what does Fucoydon do for the body? So the health benefits of Fucoydon, there's just a phenomenal variety of things that it does. It protects you from viral infections. Earlier, somebody was saying that they had a tooth infection, so they're using Fucoydon. It helps with blood clots. It helps to prevent blood clots from forming in your arteries. It actually helps to repair the arteries from damage. It helps with osteoarthritis and kidney and liver disease. Holy cow, I was just before the call, about 10 minutes before the call, I was just reading a study by the National Kidney Foundation, and it was an old study. It was from 5 years ago, but it said that 59% of Americans will have kidney disease, chronic kidney disease. 59%. I mean, think about that. And if it's happening here, I'll tell you guys down in Australia, you gals down in Australia, if it's happening here, it's happening there too, right? And so 59% have kidney disease. And one of the things that happens when you have kidney disease is that it actually takes and it damages your stem cells. It's one of the things that causes your stem cells to go into senescence, to go into hibernation, to go to sleep. Interesting, right? Because we've been, over the last year since Tom formulated the age pill, we've been hearing a lot about stem cells, and we've been hearing a lot about this term senescence. And a lot of people, they don't really know what it means and things like that. But think about that. If over half of us are going to have kidney disease, and kidney disease causes the stem cells to go into senescence, wouldn't it be great to find a natural product that actually could help the kidneys, we've got it. It's called Fucoydon, and there's studies on it. You can type it into your computer. You can do a Google search, and you can find the studies that I've been reading. Isn't that cool? And it helps with liver disease as well. You know, and I can give you a testimonial about my dad. I can tell you, he just, I mean, doing great. He'll be 81 this winter here, doing great. And he was having, a couple of years ago, the kidneys and liver were failing, and now after using Fucoydon in Eternity, his kidneys and liver are doing great. Chemotherapy and radiation therapy cause damage to the cell. That's the whole idea of chemo and radiation, is to damage the cells, bring the cancer cells as close to death as you possibly can, with hopefully not damaging the rest of the body. But what happens is that when you do that, you actually damage the cells, and they found that Fucoydon actually helps with that. Even snake bites. We don't have many snakes in North Dakota. We've only got the garter snake. It's not poisonous. So we don't have any poisonous snakes in my state. So when I went to Australia and you guys have like all these deadly snakes down there, it kind of made me a little nervous. And then everybody runs around with shorts on because it's so hot. But anyhow, on the top of the list though with Fucoydon is, I think it's so great that now there's studies that show that Fucoydon will actually mobilize stem cells. And what does that mean? I'll go over that. And it blocks cancer cell growth. And so let's spend a little time just talking about these two things. So here's a couple of studies that I just pulled up, and I was reading a lot more studies than that, but I just didn't want to clog you up. I didn't want to give you a drink of water with a fire hose, like my friend John would say, you know. And so here's some studies. And, you know, it says that Fucoydon will regulate the molecules that drive the destruction of tumor cells. Pretty cool. Anti-angiogenesis, right? It'll cut off the blood supply to the tumor. Another one is that it slows down the formation of vascular tissue that feeds the tumor growth. And there's just so many studies on Fucoydon and cancer that you ought to go out and just really look at them. It's really interesting, and read some of them, and a lot of the terms you probably won't understand. That's all right. Just grasp it. Grasp the whole meaning of it, and eventually it all makes sense to you. So what about Fucoydon and stem cells? You can see I wanted to jump to this really quickly. I wanted to spend some time talking about this. You know, stem cells have this magical ability to transform into all different kinds of cells in your body. I can take a stem cell and I can put it in my knee and it turns into a knee cell. I can put that same stem cell in my shoulder and it turns into shoulders. I can put it into my hip and it turns into a hip. Pretty cool. And our bodies rely on these, what they call multipotent types of cells. Multipotent because they can turn into different kinds of cells. And what they do is they replace the cells that we're constantly losing because of age and because of cellular damage. And stem cells are really the way that our bodies maintain youthfulness. But at a certain age, what happens is that the cells become so overworked that they can't keep up with the demands, and degeneration occurs faster than regeneration. So studies have shown that Fucoydon is an active stem cell mobilizer. And so I want to explain what this really means. Okay. And I like to explain things with an analogy that people understand. Let's say that in your city, you have a street department, you have a small street department, you have a small budget to pay for street repair. And so the mayor says, well, you know, we're going to send the street repair company over to the north side of town, and they've got this much time, like they've got 3 months to fix the street. So they go there and they fix the street, and they're working on the street, and they got it all ripped up, but their time runs out. They've used up the allotted time that the mayor gave them to fix that part of the city. So what happens is that street repair company packs all their bags and they move to another part of the city where there's more damage to the street. And so the street that they were working on the north side doesn't get repaired. It doesn't get finished. And it stays that way for the rest of time. And now the street repair works on this other part of town, and it works there until they run out of time there, and then it moves to another part. Well, in your body, stem cells do the same thing. Stem cells, they'll go and work on my shoulder for a little bit. After about 6 months, my body says, done. You've done everything you can. Stem cells, we need you somewhere else. And they pack their bags, they pack their toolkits, and the stem cells move on, and they might go to my knee, or they might go to my ankle, or they might go to my liver, or they might go to my skin, but they go somewhere else, and they start to work on something else. And so that's kind of how stem cells work, and that's why sometimes you never have complete repair. You know, think about it. Why doesn't the body repair that completely? Like a starfish, they'll grow an arm back. Certain kinds of salamanders, they can grow a new head, but we can't do that. So that's kind of how our stem cells work. So what they found is that Fucoydon comes in and it said, hey, you're not done over here. Come back here, get back to work. Fix this, and it mobilizes the stem cells back to that area. Isn't that cool? When I was reading that, I was like, holy cow, I got to do a call on this. I got to talk about this. I got to get people to understand this, because now we can take and we can boost the stem cells in the face of the aging, and we can just say, we're going to do even more. And the damage caused by chemotherapy and radiotherapy, the radiation therapy, right? They're showing that stem cells, Fucoydon can actually rescue the damaged stem cells, the ones that are important for rebuilding the insides of the blood vessels. And if you don't think that's important, go read about atherosclerosis. Arteriosclerosis. Go read about that. So it activates those stem cells, and it causes this repair. When I was reading this, I was like, holy cow, I just really love this product even more. And so when we're talking about working with people that want to prevent aging, we've got the age pill that pulls the stem cells out of senescence, reactivates them. We've got the Eternity with the resveratrol that activates the SIRT1 gene that repairs that SIRT1 gene is important for repairing the damage to our DNA, and our DNA gets damaged every single day. And now we got Fucoydon that mobilizes and brings the stem cells where you need them. And then I don't want to ever forget how important SpectraMax is in that whole mix as well, because SpectraMax has the 74 trace minerals that your body needs. And that's one of the reasons that our stem cells go into senescence, is because you don't have the right nutrition. So you don't ever want to forget about the SpectraMax. So when you're talking to somebody, you really ought to be telling, look, here's what you need to be taking. You need to be taking these 3 liquid products over here, and you need to be taking this product over here. I'm telling you, I mean, that's what I'd be doing. Well, that's what I do, right? So here's those studies, right? And then look at the second study that I have listed there. Fucoydon rescues the chrysal-induced cellular senescence in mesenchymal stem cells via the Fock-Ock-Twist axis. Who knows what that means? But here's what the study says. It says that kidney disease causes the stem cells to go into senescence, and Fucoydon rescues them. I just took and I summed up that entire study for you. This study is from April 2018. Isn't that cool? April 2018. Here's a study that's not even, what, 4 months old? Published on my birthday, April 6th. Pretty cool. So there you go. There's that study.